one of humanity's most severe and urgent challenges. As can be expected from anything that has involved an impact, climate change and global warming are often shrouded in controversy and competing narratives. With that in mind, let's begin by understanding what exactly climate change is and what makes it so dreadful for our planet. The term climate change is used to denote long-term changes in the weather patterns in a given region. Another term often interchanged with climate change is global warming. Global warming is formally defined as a rise in Earth's temperature that persists for a decade or longer. There can be several causes for climate change, but the biggest one is the rising concentration of greenhouse gases. Simply put, greenhouse gases are those gases in our atmosphere that trap heat. Some examples include carbon dioxide, methane, fluorocarbons, nitrous oxide, and ozone. How these gases affect climate change depends on their amount and their global warming potential, or GWP. This metric tells us how long the gas remains in the atmosphere, on average, and how strongly it absorbs energy. Naturally, gases with a higher GWP absorb more heat, and thus contribute more to increasing Earth's overall temperature, or other words, warming. Natural sources and human activities both result in the emission of greenhouse gases. One of the most common ways these gases get released into the atmosphere is through the burning of fossil fuels. Burning coal or oil to run industrial processes or giant factories increases the concentration of atmosphere. Carbon dioxide concentration is the highest of all climate, therefore, it is a significant contributor to global warming. Since the Industrial Revolution, a drastic increase in economic activity has triggered a sharp uptick in carbon dioxide emissions worldwide. These emissions are higher than the amount that can be captured by the Earth's natural carbon cycle. This is why rising carbon dioxide emission is of point of great concern to every nation on the planet. The rise in global temperature changes several other weather patterns and geographical conditions. For example, an increase in temperature directly impacts the snow, river, and lake ice, sea ice, glaciers, ice caps, ice shelves, and ice sheets, as well as frozen ground, also known as permafrost. The rise in surface temperature causes a decline in ice mass. Ice mass measurement by NASA's satellite shows that the Antarctic and Greenland mass is declining at an unprecedented rate. Glaciers are also retreating almost everywhere, including Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. Furthermore, oceans absorb almost 90% of the excess heat from the surrounding air, making it warmer. Although most of the heat is absorbed as the rate of warming increases, the heat means the deeper waters, marine ecosystem. Weather events include floods, drought. Weather and climate change occur when the weather or climate metric is above or below a threshold value. Some of the changes in weather patterns include an increase in the number of warm days and nights, a decrease in cold days and nights, and an increase in the frequency and intensity of daily temperature extremes. As you can imagine, climate change or global warming doesn't happen overnight. These changes occur over decades or even centuries. Thus, it stands to reason that it's impossible to either stop or completely reverse its effects in just a few weeks or months. However, as a community, we can do many things to slow down global warming and eventually embrace ways to stop or reverse it. The first and most crucial aspect of recovery is awareness, namely understanding and spreading awareness about the risks associated with climate change. On a personal level, we can look at our transportation